today I have the pleasure of speaking to Ben. Ben, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi, my name's Ben. I'm a videographer who does a variety of different types of corporate video.
Fabulous. And how long have you been doing it?
I made my first film aged 14, so it's 17 years so far of running around doing different bits and pieces. Probably looking at about 10 years of doing corporate video.
Amazing. And how long have you always had your own business with that, or is it?
Yeah, for 10 years I've had my own business now of doing that.
Amazing. Have you got any kind of like your favorite story or something that makes you laugh that you could share?
Nothing is jumping straight to mind. Like, what sort of story? Because I have hundreds.
Oh, exactly. One of those ones where you've got like your favorite customer, your favorite video, the biggest adventure that you went on, any of those?
I mean, one of the biggest adventures I've done is I went round Scotland filming a walking tour of Scotland, which was pretty cool. But in terms of favourite customers, I've done quite a bit of stuff with a particular speaker, a public speaker, and I feel like we've just built a bit of a understanding with each other. Like, I know how his business works, and I know I'll be scrolling through his edit, and I'll see two different takes we've done of something, and I'll know listening to them which one is the right take, and I'll know which bits, and I understand his business and what he's about. And I think really it's just when you understand someone's business and when you think you're actually helping. And also just work that matters. Like, I did a short film a few years ago that was about domestic abuse and emotional domestic abuse, and then I've done a couple of little documentary bits that are on other like topics that are important and that have content. So really, yeah, the two things are things that where you know you're helping and you know you understand someone's business properly and you know you're helping them grow, and then also work that matters, work that makes a difference.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing those. So throughout, because of kind of the start, the work that you do, is there anything that you'd considered before COVID that then COVID made a necessity for kind of how you changed your approach or functionality or anything?
I mean, the amount of time that was spent on Zoom calls was a bit of a surprise. I found it interesting how Skype had been one of the #1 programs for doing video call and then fell apart. But no, not really. Just it's been sort of a work from home and home office sort of setup for years. But just the fact that at least for a first meeting, a Zoom is fine and Zoom is perfectly fine. It's only once you get to know someone properly, you necessarily need to be in the room with them. And just you can adjust anything and fit with the requirements as you have to.
No, of course. And how much kind of creativity do you get with your customers? So do they give you like do you prefer it when they give you like a really detailed, this is exactly what we want, when we want it, how we want it, or do you prefer it when this is the brief, a very short, make us a video? How does it work for you?
Yeah, it can vary quite a bit. If they want to be open, it's easiest sometimes if it's because it's something like, right, we're promoting this one event or we're promoting this one thing, because then there is freedom and you can approach that idea in quite a few other ways. But then there's other people who I've worked with for years who have very specific ideas. So it doesn't matter where, assuming there's the required budget, doesn't matter where necessarily in the idea cycle you are, whether you've got a concept or whether you've got a full idea. You just work with it and develop it and build some understanding of what they need.
No, perfect, thank you. Because I know that some people will be like, well, I don't even know where to start. So that gives a good understanding. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, a concept is enough, and it's just go from there and let's explore and see. But obviously you discuss from there, and then you see by the time you start filming, you need a bit of a firm idea for most of it. I find like event videos and stuff, a lot of it's fairly similar. You know which shots you're going to need when you walk into it.
That makes perfect sense. Fab. So what would you say was your biggest learning since being responsible for your own business as a business owner?
Oh, that's a good question. 1 second. I don't know, it's the importance of your own time and how you balance it. And then if you probably go back to the very early days, it's also about that it's got nothing to do with me. It's all about the customer. And it's all about how you're helping someone else develop and how you're helping them. Like what I do, what my things are. And I used to love the tech. When you go back and you talk like 2012, 2014, I was obsessed with how different things work and I still love that stuff, and I still am a little geek for some of that stuff, but ultimately that stuff doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's what's the customer story? How do I tell it? How can I help them? And everything else is irrelevant. Yeah, and I think that's one of the first things you learn as a business, is that what you do doesn't matter. What your customer does and how you help them do it better is what matters.
No, it's very true. Thank you. Okay, so same sort of feeling, but if you were now speaking to your 18-year-old self, what advice would you give to you?
Ooh. Charge straight in and do everything. Like I think I came, so 2014, did a youth theatre, did a little program thing running around filming stuff in Bucks. By 2018, I was at uni, so it would probably 2018-year-old me needed to drink and party a bit less and go and make more films and go get involved. Because I think like, don't know if I got it at 18, but by sort of like 19, 20, I was running around doing everything that was there. And I think it would have been good if I got on that a year or two earlier. And then, yeah, just do everything and get involved. And then also things like charge the right money. Because I think when I first came out of uni, there wasn't an understanding of how you value your time, or things like I was saying there about the customer and how you understand what somebody needs, how you actually help them rather than obsessing over the gear and tech. Yeah, become someone that makes things happen rather than obsessing over gear and tech, because it doesn't matter in the end of the day.
No, it makes perfect sense. Do you think you'd have listened?
Maybe. Maybe. I think it's hard to go back and teach yourself things. I think you have to sometimes it's good to look back. It's good to know, yeah, I've done this and I've grown and done that, but you have to know that you were who you were and your mistakes that you've made in business, in life. That is what it is. That's the past. Onwards to the next thing. So 50-50.
Of course. And my last question is, what inspires you today? What inspires you to keep going with your business and with luck, not with life, but in that whole business mindset? What inspires you?
Ooh, that is a big question. I mean, in life, I have a saying that I like, which is like, try and make 98% of people that you meet life better. Now, you accept there 1% of people were horrible and you don't like, and they can bugger off, and 1% of people maybe you don't just vibe with, you're on a different, you're buzzy and running around doing stuff, or you're in a chill mood and they're at the other pace you don't. So help everyone that you can just improve their life a little bit, and just by having a chat. But just moving forward as a business, I don't know, it's just building. I know I want to look at certain areas and shift back into doing a bit more of speaker stuff and speaker show reels and things like that, because I know it's something I'm good at and that's been good in the past. I've got a driving test coming up. Hopefully I pass that. I should have years ago. And just keep charging forwards. I love my life and the exciting, weird balances of it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Well, that wraps up our interview. Great job.